It was interesting. We had a gathering with friends yesterday, and I realized that I had yet to go to a movie in Quad Cities. Apparently, I've been busy. I know it's sad, isn't it? That is sad. One movie that stood out for me, though, that I really want to go see is The Greatest Showman. It stars Hugh Jackman as P.T. Barnum, and it's a musical about the birth of show business. It looks really flashy, it looks really fun. And it got me thinking about traveling circuses back in the day, and other shows like that, and how they had to send people ahead to go and hype it up. They had to send hype men to let them know, hey, the circus is coming into town, wait until you see this. Not only that, they had to find a space that they could have their tent and they could have their show. I find this fitting for today's text. Now, today's text, if you were here last week, you might be experiencing some deja vu. Last week, we heard Mark's recollection of John the Baptist just before Jesus' baptism. And today, we get to hear John, the Gospel of John's recollection of John the Baptist just before Jesus' baptism. From these texts, we see that John the Baptist's sole purpose, as lined out, is to testify to the light, to point to Christ, to let them know of the coming Son of God. He's doing this so that when Jesus does come, they're ready and prepared to receive the Lord, to receive Jesus. Obviously, it doesn't reach everybody, because there's those who question Jesus. There's those who even question John and his authority. But that was John's purpose. Isn't it interesting when God chooses to clear the path? Like I said, P.T. Barnum and other wriggling circuses, they send people ahead of time. They have hype men, professionals that go out and let you know about this coming circus. Movies do the same thing. They spend a lot of money to get their commercials out with your TVs. They spend money on the stars of the movie, going to talk shows, going to radio, going online to talk about their movie to get you excited to want to come to it. Music artists, they do the same. You go into a new town and you meet with a radio show and you talk to them and try to tell people, come and see the show. And then there's presidents and royalty. They not only send publicists ahead, but they send security detail ahead to make sure not only is everything good to go, but everything will be safe. So we have movies, we have music, we have presidents, we have carnivals. But here there's a different thing. God's Son is coming to the world. Not only that, he's taking the form of not just God, but of man. He's coming to the world so that he can save it, so he can heal the sick, minister to the people, teach people about God's love. And so that he can die for God's people to show that love. God's Son, this is coming into the world, and it's a huge event. So who's the hype man? He doesn't send a professional publicist, someone with their PhD in PR. No, he sends just some dude named John. Now, it's not in this text, but on top of being some dude named John, he's a weird dude named John. He's dressed in camel hair. He eats locusts and honey. He doesn't look very clean. You can understand the priests and Levites' confusion when they're sent to go talk to this guy. If a man like John stood in front of the White House to let the president know that the King of Kings is near, how long would it be before either A, he was killed, or B, he was imprisoned, B, part 2, sent to Guantanamo and never heard of again? This is a weird guy. And he's not the prophet. He's not the Messiah. He's not Elijah. They ask him, who are you? Are you a prophet? Are you the Messiah? Are you Elijah? Nope. I am none of those. I am just a voice crying out in the wilderness. Make straight the way of the Lord. John is nothing special. But he is a man sent by God ahead to share the good news of Jesus so that all might believe through John's words. Do we ever think of ourselves as one sent to share the good news? Jesus gave the commission in Matthew chapter 28. He said, go, make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. This isn't just John who's been sent ahead. We're sent ahead as well to share this good news. But there's a common theme when people hear that. They go, okay, but isn't that your job? Isn't that my job? I'm the pastor. I'm the professional speaker. I'm the one who should be talking about Jesus to other people. Or, I just don't know my Bible well enough to talk about God to other people. Or I have a little too much fun on the weekends. I swear too much. I am not of the right social class. All of these reasons for which I am unworthy, in a sense, to share the good news of Jesus Christ to someone. But look at John. What does John say? He says, I am unworthy to untie the thong of his sandal. There's an interesting point for Moses. Moses, the father, sometimes seen, Abraham's the father of the Israelites, but Moses is in such high regard. When God tells Moses, hey, you're going to free all of the Israelites out of the Egyptian slavery, Moses doesn't go get gung-ho and say, all right, let's go, we can do this. He goes, God, I think you got the wrong guy. God, I don't speak the best. I have a stutter. And so, why don't you give that responsibility to somebody else? But God doesn't turn Moses away. Instead, he says, don't worry. You have your brother Aaron. Aaron can speak just fine. I am with you on your journey. The reality of Jesus Christ's resurrection is that God is loose in the world, running around, running amok, and it's a good thing. And it is from our lips and our actions that we get an opportunity, we get a chance to share that good news, to share knowledge of our God. Whether you know it or not, you are qualified to do so. You're qualified to live a life for God, to share the good news, the good message of Jesus Christ. No ifs, no buts, no ands. You're qualified. The only requirement of the application to be sent ahead by God is to know that Christ died for you. To know that Christ died for you and has given you life. Well, I can tell you right now, he's done it for the whole world, not just for me, not just for you. So therefore, we see that the requirement has nothing to do with our own work. It's actually Jesus who fulfills the requirement for us to share the good news. It can be scary to talk about God and religion. Might as well talk about politics while we're on the top of it if you really want to get people's blood boiling. But I really find it quite amazing of who God chooses to spread the good news. And how God chose himself to be the good news. Not in the form of some giant royalty, but in the form of a man, born. In the form of someone who started out as a baby, mild, who died on a cross, meek and mild, and yet rose from the dead, glorious, and always letting us know that we are loved and that God moves